Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? Thank you for joining me during this somber yet exciting Week 7 reaction show, because we've got, on one hand, one of our favorite breakout candidates, Kenneth Walker, dropping fire. Kenny Walker, 168, 7.3 a pop, 2 touchdowns, looking like a phenomenal monster. Touchdown machine, nose for the end zone, 4 touchdowns, and he's barely been unleashed. He hasn't been playing all year long. This is a guy that's barely got run the last couple of weeks, and he's already looking like a locked-in top 5 running back go forward. Then we have the somber news about Breece Hall. Breece Hall likely looking like he's going to have a torn ACL. We don't have confirmation fully on this, but it says, according to head coach Robert Saleh, the team believes Breece Hall's knee suffered an ACL injury, which would put him out for the year, which would put his 2023 season a little bit in jeopardy. He's a young guy. Young players tend to recover very, very well from ACL tears, but his first year back, it's tough to say how productive and explosive he'll be. It's tough. It's tough. You know, there's always injuries. You know, we lose Breece Hall, we lose Javonte. There's not much we can do to avoid these injuries. I mean, you can't really. I saw a comment in here like look, it hits me hard, bro. It hits me hard. Somebody in here said, what'd they say? Where's that guy at? guy. Somebody said first Javonte. Who is this? First Javonte and now Breece. Come on, Smitty. I don't know if that's directed at me, bro. I can't help an ACL tear from a player that's not injury prone getting hit with a helmet on the side, or Javonte's was a freak injury. There's nothing he did wrong in that play or carried any kind of injury history into that situation. Same thing with Breece Hall. These are absolute monsters that were ready to break out. I'll take it to my grave that Javonte would have been a top 5 running back. To my grave, because he would have completely had the job to himself at this point, because Hackett's been going through the running back turnstile trying to get somebody, and Javonte would have been exploding. Breece Hall was already a top 1 to 2 running back. You know, what more can I do, buddy? I'm doing the best I can. But you know what we do have are a particular set of skills that make us dangerous when we go up against our opponents, because we're prepared, we adjust, we adapt, and we've got an arsenal and an army waiting on our bench like ETN, like Kenneth Walker, like our Moon Men list.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space Monsters.
I can't control these 2 injuries here to Javonte and Breece Hall, both looking like ACL injuries. But look at this Moon Men list that's going absolutely nuts. ETN. Now, St. Brown has been a disappointment, but he's been absolutely killer when he's on the field and healthy. So we can only hope that he comes back and goes on an absolute tear. But man, this is brutal. This is brutal. This is a mix of like an amazing and like kick to the nads type of year. Like, we're doing phenomenal on so many fronts, and a lot of slow starts. So we came out of week 1 going, oh my God, like, what's going on here? And week 1, week 2, week 3, it was bust city all over the place. Everybody's predictions were busting, yours, mine, everybody's, because we went over it. It was like 60 to 70% of the entire top 30 overall from ADP data in late August was completely busting. So everybody felt like in a vacuum their players were busting. Oh my God, I can't believe all my players were busting. But it was the whole fantasy football like world was busting. Every player inside the top 30, but like I think it was 7 or 8 players was looking like what you could categorize as a bust. Then we had some bounce backs. And our stack, our pancake stack, which a lot of people ripped on coming out of weeks 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, real nice stack, Smitty.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Can I get some pancake emojis, please? Can I get some pancake emojis in the chat, please? Can we rain pancake emojis for the next minute or 2, please? Just to give these 2 men flowers. Because we got the stack of all stacks coming in, dropping fire. Absolute fire. Mashed potatoes. This guy right here. I've been wearing this shirt all day long in support of our new top 5 running back in the making in Kenneth Walker. It sucks about Breece Hall, guys. It absolutely sucks. The tripod. We have the tripod bit right here. Hold on. The tripod bit has... We didn't update the Moon. The Moon Man's locked in.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
That's locked in. We don't change that. That's for the record. The tripod's kind of a revolving door. We've added to it. But the tripod does have burrow. Here we go.
The tripod, also likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, are constructed using Burrow or Hertz, Chase or a JB, Hall or Walker.
It sucks, man. You just reminded at every turn on the show we see Breece Hall, we see Javonte. It's like, what can you do? What can you do? You can adjust and adapt. There's nothing more you can do. We could come on here, we can feel defeated, we can do what a lot of people did when Javonte went down. Say it's over, I can't come back from it. Or you had the depth you needed. We drafted the Dameon Pierces, the Kenneth Walkers, the ETNs. There are going to be some buy lows to go get out there, and there's going to be hits and misses. It's part of what's, what you face every single time. Tell us again who you lost. The OJ said, Smitty, I lost Javonte Hollywood Williams. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry you lost some guys. Down to Foreman worth a pickup. Yeah, I mean, Foreman and we'll see how injured Chuba is. But Foreman is going to get volume, like 12 to 15 carries a game. I don't know that he'll be, phenomenal, a phenomenal play each and every week. But, yeah, I hate this BS. Javonte and now Breece, says Zona. I'm sorry, my guy. I wish I could help you other than give you the most up-to-date information and try and help you swing things back in the right direction. ETN stepping up big. Kenneth Walker stepping up big. The Moon Men list is strong. Is still very strong.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
But man, am I just depressed right now? Like I can't. As much as Kenneth Walker just absolutely made my day at the same time, and that merch, by the way, let me drop the link if you guys want to get your Kenneth Skywalker merch. It's very, very, like, it's just down. You get down, when you lose someone that's such a big part of all of your fantasy teams, your entire show. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a kick to the nads. When I lost Javonte, it was a very depressing, like, 24, almost 48 hours, where I literally came on here and I didn't want to. It's not that I didn't want to be here with you guys. I just didn't want to be live. But I have to do it. It's my job. It's what I do. I got to bounce back myself. I got to practice what I preach. Bounce back. We all have a little lull, a moment of like, okay, let me just accept this. Let me mourn what's going on. And then you got to bounce back. It's time to adjust and adapt. It's time to go get St. Brown, David, while he's disappointing owners over and over and over again. Now you go get St. Brown when he looks like a lost cause to his owner that might be 3 wins. Or if they're lucky, 4 wins. But Breece Hall was off to an absolute terror. 60-plus yard touchdown run at the beginning of the game. Looked like an absolute monster. Man, it's just, it's crazy. Where's the stack merch? Merch link is pinned in the live chat if you want to get the merch. And if you want to also get, any of the other merch. I'm so depressed. I got my Get Breece shirts over here, my Breece Hall apparel. It's like I'm still gonna wear it. I still love the guy. He's still got a shot at coming back next year and being a top 5 running back, but it's gonna be a little bit of a, just like with J.K. Dobbins, just like with Barkley, his first year back last year from the ACL recovery. It all depends on how fast they come along in the offseason, if they're ready for week 1. If you're fully ready for week 1 and there's no setbacks and you're out there, then ACL recoveries can be smoother the first year back. So I'm not going to just come out and say, I love Javonte, to the moon next year. I'm going to have to take it case by case with Breece Hall and Javonte. How do they look? Are they behind schedule? Did they have any setbacks? What's going on? I'm not just going to be all in on Javonte next season. I'm not just going to be all in on Breece Hall next season. It totally matters what's going on. But man, Breece Hall, it's frustrating. But Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, as I said all offseason long, these are 2 generational talent running backs. And everybody wanted to just cast aside this rookie running back class. It's mediocre at best, Smitty. These guys aren't generational talents. They're not top 5 to 10 running backs. Kenneth Walker just proved he's a top 5 running back going forward. Kenneth Walker is a top 5 running back going forward. If you don't think Kenneth Walker is a top 5 running back going forward, you didn't watch the game. You didn't watch the game, and you haven't watched a single game that this man has had, because he is an absolute monster. Kenneth Walker just knows how. I've said this before. He's a space navigator. Where's my football? This guy space navigates like no other player in the NFL. Let's go to the setup here. This guy is like Forrest Gump when he's out there. I got my Kenneth Skywalker shirt on. Get your merch pinned in the live chat. This guy literally like Forrest Gump. There's 5 defenders over here. There's 3 here. He navigates over, bro. He finds a way to just go like this down the field, or he knows how to manipulate, use the sideline. He's a space monster. He knows exactly what he's doing at all times when he's on the field. I absolutely love Kenneth Walker. He's the best space navigating monster on the field at any given moment, at any given time. And for those that think he can't catch the ball, just wait. Just wait. What makes a good PPR running back? What makes a good pass-catching running back in the NFL? The ability to navigate open space. The ability to stop and start. Vision. Kenneth Walker, arguably, you could make fun of me all you want and say until you see it, you can't say this. I love when people tell me, Smitty, you can't say that. He's only taken X number of snaps already in the NFL. What do you want? Somebody that sits back and waits till it's obvious? Okay, let me wait on Kenneth Walker. Okay, week number 6 is over. Week number 7's over. He just had 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's pretend I'm waiting, right? Okay, 168, 2 touchdowns. Let me go live. Kenneth Walker is going to be a good player. You know, he's going to be a top 5 running back. Who wants that? Okay, so when I say this, understand that I'm in the prediction business. I believe Kenneth Walker is top 1 or 2 or 3 in the NFL in vision. In vision already. When he's on the field, he has a top 3 running back skill set for vision. One of the best players in the league in terms of having vision on the field and knowing what's going on around him. That coincides with exactly what I'm describing in terms of he's a space navigator. The vision to know that direction is where I want to go. I'm playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers on the field. He knows that once he gets through this right here, down that way, if he chooses that path, he's going to have a more wide open rushing lane or receiving lane to head straight to the house. This guy's going to break off so many long touchdown runs because of his vision. He's a top 3 running back in the NFL vision-wise already. And you can make arguments that really he's developing into the best vision-based running back in the NFL. His vision's unmatched. He's an absolute monster. But man, I just don't know. I understand everybody's gonna come in with mixed feelings. Josh Allen. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
The stack above all stacks.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it. Get burrowed.
Phenomenal day there. Phenomenal day here with Kenneth Walker. We had a great day. We had a great day in general, but then we had this somber Breece Hall news. So it's like we can't fully celebrate. It sucks. You know, part of me is down right now. Part of me is very, very up, and part of me is very, very down. And it's okay to be upset about it. You got to mourn it. You got to get over it. And it takes time to get over it. But man, I mean, did we get some goodness today too? We need to relish in that. We can't just soak in the bad. We got to look at the good. Dameon Pierce still looking good, getting volume. I would have loved for Dameon Pierce to get a little bit more. ETN, we haven't even talked about ETN yet. ETN looked phenomenal. ETN is so efficient. ETN and Kenneth Walker are going to save seasons for people. They're going to save seasons for people. And no, I don't want to see Zach was right about an ACL injury. Zach doesn't know what he's talking about. Zach also doesn't like Gabe Davis. Okay, broskies. I would say this. If you are struggling right now, we're going to cook up some ideas to get you into a running back, an RB that might salvage your season. What do we say about Aaron Jones? One of the better buy lows walking into week number 7. People that invested in Aaron Jones on the cheap may have just salvaged their season and potentially set themselves up to win their league. People that traded for ETN, like we talked about on the show all week, all last week, all the week before, all off season, since before draft day last year, people that invested in ETN salvaged their season. If you don't have the RB support to go forward, we can try our best to figure it out. But Walker and ETN are absolute monsters, and we'll figure it out. I had Hall and Javonte. Bro, why? I don't know, bro. It's look, I've got a lot of teams that have Hall and Javonte. One of my best teams has both of them. Had both of them. And I still got Pierce, ETN, Walker, and I'm gonna be supported there. And I'll figure it out. I still feel like my team is on fire. I still feel like my team is lit. I still feel like my team can survive. I still got a whole lot of talent. There's hits and misses this week. no doubt about it. But we had more wins than we had losses, and the losses were not our fault. The losses were, I mean, it's what can you do? What can you do with injury? Even DK's injury. If you own DK, you couldn't have seen that coming. You know, DK definitely. He ruined my five. He ruined my parlay. I just needed DK to deliver. That's all I needed. DK went out with injury. Breece Hall was also on that parlay, but I don't blame him because I love Breece Hall. But man, what a downer. So let's take some of the questions. I got some super chats I need to get to, and then if you guys want to ask some questions, we'll do some speed round. But man, what a mixed day. What a mixed bag. Brad with a super chat. Brad, Brofist, bro. Heartbroken about Breece. I know, man. I wish I could take your pain away. I wish I could take your pain away, Brad. Smitty, do I try and sell on Pierce and trade him for two lesser studs to mitigate risk after Breece Javonte losses? It depends on what we can cook up, but we most certainly will take a look at that. And if you give me some like ideas as far as what you're looking at. I mean, could you go get? You can't really. I mean, we got to look at who the buy lows are going to be coming out of this week. Because Aaron Jones is probably off the table now. That was the go-get that we've recommended all week long. ETN was the go-get, and those two pieces are off the board. There's just no way to get those guys low anymore. No one's giving them up. Swift would be. So here's Masters actually stating the guy I'm about to speak to. Let me read his question. My first two picks were Swift and Javonte, but my backups were Pierce, Walker, Ramondre, and Brian Robinson. So Swift would be probably the guy that comes to mind most that we need to go attack if we are in a position where we're down running backs. We're hit hard with the Javonte, Breece Halls and injuries of that nature. It is Swift. Swift's probably number one. If I had to go through rankings and try and pinpoint a few other running backs that are good buy low targets, it's Swift number one. It's probably going to be, I mean, Kamara's top five. Like, you can't buy Kamara anymore. Stop even considering it. Walker. You can't buy Kenneth Walker anymore. That's done. He's top five. Kenneth Walker's top five. Kamara, you're probably not going to be able to buy low on. And we talked about the risks involved and all that too. And he's still got the off the field potential risk coming around. I know everyone thinks he won't get suspended this year, but Travis Etienne buy low season's done. If you're struggling, I know you're going to be shocked at what I'm about to tell you. There are not a lot of running backs left to buy low. There are three names left. For anybody that is struggling, that needs to go running back shopping. These are from first glance, these are the names that you go get in order of how much I believe in them. Swift is number one, buy low. Number two, and this may not work. This may not work because you might lose your opportunity to get him. But number two, let me see if you can read this. Number two, Najee. Even though he's in a void, even though he's been a get rid of, don't go. This advice is only for people in dire straits. This is only for people that have been hit and rocked with injury at running back, and they need a prayer. Okay, understand what I'm saying. I'm not asking anybody to go get Najee Harris if your team is firing on all cylinders. You got 5 wins, you got running back depth. This is for people that are desperate and they need an RB. There aren't a lot of options. These are not safe options at all. But Swift, Najee, and then I would say the last one, the last potential running back to go get on the cheap. Who was I going to say? It was Joe Mixon. This, off the top of my head, this is it. This is the list. Maybe Fournette. This is it. If you are desperate at running back, you must go attack these 3 running backs. You have no other option. I'm looking at the list right now. I don't think anybody's selling. Look, JT. Maybe JT. Let's put JT 1. Swift, Najee, Mixon. Let's go. Yeah, let's put JT 1. 1 is JT. 2, Swift. 3 Mixon. Or we'll do Najee. And 4 Mixon. This is it. These are the only 4 running backs that can save your season if you are in dire straits. And again, please understand what I'm saying. Do not go get Najee Harris on some like, oh, Smitty likes Najee now, I'm going to go get. This is not for everybody. This is not directed to probably 50, 60% of you. This is directed to probably 20 to 25% of you that have been leveled by Breece and Javonte and other injuries. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it because I want to make sure everybody understands this is a desperate move. This is an okay move. I like this move, and I love this move. So, my answer key, if you wanted it, was this is an okay move. This is a desperate move. This is a good move. This is a fantastic move. Actually, this is probably fantastic. This is ultra fantastic. Because I want separation between these two. I want people to know that I love this. I love this even more. I like this. I don't love it. And I don't like this at all, but it might be your only option. Those are it. That's it. That's it. So, man. Smitty preach that if Gus is on waivers, get him. Yeah, Gus the Bus is a good player to grab off waivers. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was going to look as good as he did. Gus Edwards needs to be grabbed. If you're in trouble, he's a good grab. Go get him off waivers. That is definitely going to be the number one waiver wire claim walking out of week number 7. Of course, Michael Carter will be on the list. I don't know that he's going to be as effective filling in, of course, but definitely somebody to look to. Kyron Williams, that's right, Russian collusion. That's also another one to look to. Let's get these super chats on here. Heating, Smitty, do you try and sell on a Pierce? Okay, so yeah, to answer your question, yes, I would try and go get a Swift and a Swift or a JT somehow. I don't know that you're going to get JT straight up for Pierce though. You could certainly try. But you could probably get Swift and something very small in addition, Swift and something small for Pierce. I imagine somebody might do that. But it's definitely an option for people that are in trouble. And these are the running backs to attack. Buy low running backs if you're in need. Please make sure you understand the assignment here. My first 2 picks were Swift and Javonte, but my backups were Pierce. Okay, so I already read that one. Congrats on drafting smart and being the man. Could you make Chase Burrow stack merch? Yeah, I'll look to do that, Riley. That's a good idea. I've meant to in the past with the pancake emoji and all, but I'll definitely get to work on that. Thank you for reminding me. Traded CMC for JT effective week number 8, good or bad? I definitely like JT. I think more than CMC. Look, Shanahan's an awful coach. I keep telling everybody Shanahan's an awful coach. I keep telling everybody Jimmy G is cheeks, man. This guy's not a good quarterback. He's like a funnel, and you're trying to put all these amazing weapons into the funnel and try and get an output. It's not, you're trying to get everybody to come out at the same time. It's one at a time. It's wait in line for the football. Everybody's in line like you're doing layups on a basketball court. Nobody can shoot at the same time. There's one ball and there's everybody lined up to do layups. That's how it feels. It's like Jimmy G's under center. You have all these weapons and you just can't even use them. And so you rotate using them. It's not like the ball could only be in one person's hand at once. I understand how my analogy's a little strange, but I think you get my point, that it comes down to the fact that Jimmy G can't facilitate. And he can't throw the football down the field. He's not accurate. He gets sacked. He makes bad decisions. He's not mobile. So if Kyle Shanahan's garbage play calling collapses, guess what? Jimmy G's going down because he's not mobile. He's not getting away. So that's why you have this man in the end zone getting safetied, getting smashed. And so CMC worries me. I would take JT, but I would want more. I would want more because you can probably get more. So, give me more, bro. Give me more. Russian collusion with the super chat. Russian Appreciate you. Carolina wins. San Francisco loses. Maybe CMC is the bad luck piece. I don't know about that. I think it's not his fault. I think it has nothing to do with CMC. I think it's everything to do with Kyle Shanahan and his decisions, which include banking on a guy named Jimmy G as his quarterback and focusing so much on plan B. Everyone's like, oh, it's so good. Good idea to have Jimmy G. What an amazing, masterful plan on Shanahan's part. How about not running your quarterback up the gut like a fullback, like he's Derrick Henry, and getting him injured? 457 of you in here, only 71 thumbs up. Please smash that thumb up for your boy Smitty as we're getting in here and getting going on recapping all these games. Whoa. Whoa. we got a little mishap here on the scenes. Where's my button for this? Here we go.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
So subscribe if you're new. Pollard will be starting next week, says Prophet. Pollard looked effective. Look, Zeke did good as well, but Pollard is always looking more effective, even if Zeke gets that touchdown or whatever. It lost Javonte Williams and possibly Hall now. It does look like Hall's probably looking at the torn ACL. You might as well expect it rather than be let down again. But I'm desperate. Just lost Hall and Javonte as well. Well, here are your running backs, guys, that you need to go target. Make sure you are bringing these to the chat and to me so we can discuss them. But these are your RBs that we're looking at to maybe acquire if you're in desperation mode. I love the 3 check marks against next to JT's name indicates that I love that. Swift, I love it. Very much love Swift with the 2 check marks. Najee's got an asterisk because I don't love that. But it's desperation time if you need an RB. And if you need a big swing for the fences, maybe he rebounds and has a... And the problem is you're going to see him play right now. And I don't know that you're going to even be able to get him is part of the problem. So we'll see if you're even able to corral him in. Maybe he has a mediocre game and you bank on him having a very successful second half of the season. So Najee's, TBA, whether you can even get him. If he has a good game tonight, then Najee Harris is going to be untouchable to even you in these scenarios. So then it'll be down to Mixon, Swift, and JT. And Mixon's the lowest value guy. Aaron Jones, that was last week. You're not getting him anymore. You're not getting ETN anymore. These are all off the table for buy lows. ETN, Aaron Jones, all off the table. Those were all guys last week that were great buy lows that we talked about. Sat CMC started JT, Walker, Eckler. Do I sell St. Brown 6-1 week at wide receiver, especially next week? I have Keenan, St. Brown, Sutton, Lamb. That's not bad. You're not weak at wide receiver. I mean, I understand next week, but I just mean like St. Brown could come back this coming week. We'll see. Sometimes the concussions will take you out more than one game. But if there's silver lining, and I'm not saying there's ever silver lining really with the concussion, but maybe this helps his knee his ankle get a little bit better. Maybe his ankle just gets a little bit more healed up. This is kind of like when Godwin had other injuries that kept him off the field, which helped heal his knee and his ACL recovery. So it could be like a blessing in disguise for his overall health to be off the field for a week or something. But hopefully he doesn't miss week number 8. We'll see. He's already at his bye week, so we don't need him going on another bye, on an injury bye week. But you'll be okay. Can I get a Walker button? We don't have a Kenny Walker button yet, but we do need to create one. Get Walkered, get Skywalkered, I don't know, or just Kenny Walker with lightsabers or something. I'll figure it out. I'll make something for this next show potentially. But appreciate your super chat and all your support. Thank you. Russian Collusion with yet another super chat. Russian said, Smitty, what about Kyron Williams if you lost Hall? Kyron Williams, Gus the Bus will be atop the waiver wire video this week. So we will discuss that on the call tonight too when we do our Sunday evening halftime call. If you guys want to be a part of the Zoom calls, I will drop the link in the live stream right now in the chat. The link is also in the description if you're watching this on the replay. The link is being dropped right now in the live chat. I'll pin it. If you want to be on the Zoom calls, anybody that has the $9.99 a month plan on YouTube, the YouTube exclusive memberships, link is pinned. Link is in the description. Cancel anytime. You can do it for 1 month if you want and get 2 Zoom calls every single Sunday. So 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 Zoom calls that you'll be on with all of us talking about who are the buy lows, the the waiver wire guys, reactions to the game, stuff like that. 2 Zoom calls. They're about 30 to 40. They're about 40-minute calls. 2 of them every single Sunday. We'll be talking about that at halftime of this game. That'll be our second call of the day at halftime of this very, very game. So I'm going to jump off of this show before halftime for sure. Hernandez, Gabe Davis, or Najee rest of season. Depends. If you got hit with running back injuries and you've got nobody, you might have to go the Najee route, my guy. But I'd watch the rest of this game to kind of determine whether that makes sense, because maybe Najee looks so bad that you're like, I can't even do that. Losing Gabe Davis would kill me. I drafted Swift, Javonte, and Breece. You're getting beat up there, David, but I have faith in you, my guy. What's your record? Hopefully your record is good enough to maybe rebound and stay in it. I'm 3-4. I have Herbert, Dak, J.J. Lamb, Evans, B-Rob, Harris, Hines, Muth, Knox. Should I do what move? Get the whiteboard out. I mean, there's nothing to whiteboard here other than to say, like, I would take Herbert, Dak. If you're in a super flex, I don't know if this is super flex. You didn't say. I don't think you said. I'm trading one of your quarterbacks, whichever one gets me anything. If it's super flex, I keep him obviously. But JJ just had his bye. It'd be hard to trade JJ coming off the bye. B-Rob's attractive to trade. Mike Evans is still easy to trade in some leagues. Lamb is still somewhat easy to trade. If I'm you, I'm potentially going after. I'm using Lamb or Evans mixed with Damian Harris, depending on how he does. You might need Damian Harris to do well in this upcoming Monday night game in order to gain you trade value. And if you couple Damian Harris or B-Rob with maybe, I would say Evans or Lamb, you get JT potentially. So Harris and Evans, Harris and Lamb for JT. JT's pretty lowly ranked. You could trade one of those guys for Swift if you needed to. If I was trading one of them, I suppose I would trade. I guess I would trade. Let me look at some things real quick. What did Lamb finish with? Oh man, what a mixed bag today. I'm literally like excited and just very down at the same time. And just losing Breece Hall, losing Javonte was hard enough. I was recovering from that. You know, like we all were recovering from that. We had ETN, we had Walker and Pierce in many of these cases. Breece Hall, things were going great, and then, oh my God, 4 catches for 70 yards. CeeDee Lamb, no touchdowns over the last 3 weeks. I worry a little bit about that. If I could get Swift, I would get Swift. If you need a running back, Lamb for Swift is a great trade, Nigel. That the JT or Swift are targets for me if I've got your team. Burrow, DP, Jamar, Jacoby, Pitts, Pierce, Wandell, DP's Damian Pierce, I believe, if anybody's wondering, and I believe that's Damian Pierce. I would say your team's pretty good, but do you need something? Yes, you do. What do you get? I don't know. At this point, you probably have to trade Jamar. I hate to say it, but you probably can't. You have a good team, but you can't win with it. It's missing, obviously, Breece Hall. If you had Breece Hall, you're in it, and that's not your fault. You didn't pick an injury-prone player. There's nothing wrong. Mostert touchdown. There's nothing wrong with what you did setting this team up. It's not your fault. But you do need to trade at this point. You need to adjust and adapt. And Jamar Chase for a let's say a Swift and a Pittman. Let's say people are like, look, Pittman's dead to me again. I'm done with Pittman. Matt Ryan sucks. I want to get rid of Pittman. Maybe you get JT and Pittman for Jamar. And then that's a move that maybe gets you back in it. Maybe you get A.J. Brown and Najee. Maybe you get Mixon and a strong wide receiver. But I would definitely look for packages like that using your Jamar Chase. And I hate to tell you to do that. You know how much I love Jamar Chase, but I also don't want you sitting there fighting for second place all year because you want to hold on to Jamar. You gotta know what you're working with. And right now you're being honest with yourself, right? And you're like, I need to make a move. What do I do with Mike Williams to capitalize? I mean, Mike Williams, I don't what's his status? Let's see how bad it's looking for Mike Williams. See if there's an update on Mike Williams. Mike Williams is injured, obviously. And the latest report was ankle will not return. There's no update other than the good news is the Chargers are headed into their bye week, and he has 1 week of rest, and we'll see if he can get back in time. But, I mean, to trade him off of an injury is going to be hard. Even if he had, a relatively solid game, you know what I'm saying? Like even coming off of 86 yards and a touchdown, 7 receptions. That's a good day for Mike Williams. He had a very, very good day, but he's inconsistent and he's hurt. I don't think you can capitalize off it at all. If you package him with something, I bet you can. More so. Like if you traded Mike Williams and something small for Najee, maybe you get that done. Or for Mixon, I doubt you're getting a Swift unless you give a nice, other second piece to go with, Mike Williams. Like maybe a B-Rob and a Mike Williams gets you a Swift. You could always try. Maybe a Mike Williams and a little bit better than a B-Rob gets you a JT. Certainly take stabs at it. Don't be afraid for somebody to say no. If you're not lowballing them so bad that it's making them never want to trade with you again, it's okay to get a no. It's okay to get a no. You never know when someone's going to accept a trade they didn't want to accept, or they got scared and I need to make a move, and they just accept the first trade that comes through their notifications. You know what I mean? Don't ever assume that someone won't do a bad trade. And if you ever believe no one's going to do this trade, think about it from your perspective. Have you ever done a trade where you're like, this is a bad trade? Why did I do this? You regret it. Instantly, you regret it. Have you ever done that? If the answer is yes, and it is a yes, I can answer for you. If you've ever made a trade that almost instantly you regret it and you wish you could take it back, remember that when you're about to not send an offer that's in your advantage in your mind. And there's times, think about it. Have there ever been times where you've sent an offer thinking you're getting the better end, and once it gets immediately accepted, you're like, crap, maybe I gave too much. So stop thinking that your analysis is always the best at the moment. You're maybe overhyping somebody and someone's not seeing it the way you are. Like Kenneth Walker. Everybody didn't want to accept Kenneth Walker was on the rise top 5 running back. And a lot of people didn't even take an attempt or a stab at him because they thought, oh, Smitty keeps talking about him as the top 5 running back. Everybody else feels that way. Everybody else doesn't feel that way. And they do now. They do now. They do now.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
They do now, buddies. Everybody's on notice now. Kenneth Walker's season's here to stay. We got a $20 hauler, by the way, coming in the door from RS. RS.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Appreciate you, RS. My first 2 picks were Swift and Javonte, but my backups were Pierce, Walker, Ramondre, Brian Robinson. I'm still in first in my league. See, this is good stuff to hear. I'm very proud of you, Master. I'm also, that's Master. Appreciate Master, by the way. RS was the one that just dropped this. Oh, because I'm on the wrong scene. RS said, lost Javonte, Eli Mitchell. I have Pierce with fill-ins. I'm heavy on wide receiver. JJ, AJ Brown, Godwin, Cooks, Amon-Ra. Should I try and move AJ and target a top running back? If so, who should I target? Swift. I would use AJ to target Swift. I would try and get something else. I would try and finagle a Pittman or someone like that out of, like, think about last week. All last week, what was I saying? Try and make a trade that looks even, and we'll use the Breece Hall example. Even though Breece Hall went down, think about the logic of it, okay? I said trade McCaffrey for Breece Hall, and at the time it was genius. And someone could come in here and say, oh, Smitty, you're wrong. How bad? You can't see these things. But what did I tell you to do? I told you to get an ETN. I told you to trade and get an ETN with Breece Hall. So think about it for a second. Don't use Breece Hall in this example, but had you traded one player for one player where you like the player you're getting as much as the player you're giving away that's supposed to be this better player, but you're getting ETN for it. And so you have to ask yourself, like, can I get a player thrown in a case like AJ Brown for Swift? Getting that ETN is the difference maker. Getting that ETN is going to make you win your league. Look at ETN now. Everybody that got ETN thrown into a trade last week because he was easy to get added into a trade now has they have a better shot at recovering from a Breece Hall injury, or they have a shot at winning their league because now they have a potential top 10 PPR running back monster to throw into their lineup. So in the case of A.J. Brown, downgraded into Swift or downgraded into Mixon if you're needing an RB, then what wide receivers out there still have the capability of doing kind of what ETN's going to do for people that got him thrown in last week? The answer at wide receiver, probably to me, would be Michael Pittman coming off, what did Pittman end up having at the end of the day? Because I knew he was struggling all game, but did he get some kind of garbage stats at the end that I didn't see at the very tail end of that game? Let's see, Michael Pittman had 9. He had 6 for 58. So he ended up catching a couple passes that brought that number up. But 6 for 58. Michael Pittman is disappointing to his owner, and he could be thrown in. I don't know that you're getting Gabe Davis cheaply anymore. McLaurin's off the table. He had a great day. Other wide receivers that potentially have that ability to maybe be stolen away, I would say, man, they're dwindling fast, guys. Like, the time to buy low is closing on a lot of these players. I don't know that there are that many left that you could steal away from somebody. Olave, you're not stealing away from anybody. T. Higgins, you're not stealing him away from anybody. Although he's still kind of a little bit concerning to his owners, when they're expecting, they're watching everybody else pop off, and they're expecting this guy to have more of a big day than he has. But he does have good numbers by the end of the game. 5 catches for 93 yards, but he's kind of like struggling all day. You might be able to get Higgins and Najee for an A.J. Brown and something. It's tough to say. It depends how Najee does. And if you want to go after Higgins and somebody, and let's say Najee does well, what running back could you couple in this situation with a Higgins for your A.J. Brown? ETN was a guy you could have done last week. Who do you throw in this week? I don't know that there's that many players left. I don't know if Ramondre is going to look mediocre, but you still feel confident going forward. Do you take a Najee and Ramondre for A.J. Brown? Do you take a Gabe Davis and a Ramondre for an A.J. Brown? Would somebody even do that? Some people might like Gabe Davis more. Some people might not. Can you get a Swift and something like a tight end upgrade or a quarterback upgrade because somebody's got 2 quarterbacks? You got to look at all those options. But RS, definitely appreciate your super chat. Definitely appreciate you. And I appreciate the situation you're in. And hopefully that gave you some insight and some ideas of what to do. But definitely trade A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's got some good trade value. Skywalker, a.k.a. K9, let's go.
Mashed potatoes!
What a day. What a mixed bag. I mean, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted in a good way. I'm exhausted in a depressing way. Then I'm excited again. Don't wipe feet. Take your shoes off. Stay a while, says Brad. Brofist, Brad. Appreciate Brad. Rock out. Trade Kamara for JT or keep Kamara and take a lap. I take JT. I roll the dice, even though people, like, he still had 15 points in fantasy. Like, JT had a bad day and he still had 15 fantasy points. And if you play a non-PPR, I can't help you. Your grandma now plays PPR. I used to say your grandma plays non-PPR. Your grandma actually upgraded her league settings to PPR. So get with the times. 0.5, okay. But in PPR, he had 15 point something points, 15.5 or 15.8, depending on decimal scoring or whatever, depending on your league. He had 15 points. Okay, it was a horrible day, and he had 15 points. I'm trading for JT, and I'm not really looking back. Kamara's got situational risk. The team's always... I really feel like there's still off-the-field issues. Last night on the show, we had Double A come on and grace us with some expertise in the video technology section of casinos and what goes on behind scenes, how likely this footage is probably out there, how bad he's heard the footage is himself. This footage is awful, and if it gets out, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. The NFL, it's so bad, the footage, that if it gets out, if it gets leaked, and don't come in here and say, Smitty, it's already out. The footage is already out. Then find it, Bob. Come in and tell us where we can locate it, because it's not out. You think it's out. You're running your mouth about it. It's not out. This footage is not out yet. Once the footage leaks, and it probably There's a decent chance it does. Kareem Hunt's footage leaked. Ray Rice footage leaked. It's in the advantage of the prosecution. He's got 2 civil, 1 criminal potential case against him. That the footage is so bad that if it gets out, it helps those sides. It's so bad, and there's no like, as Double A explained last night, it's not like it's in like one person's hands. And at first when it happens, no one even knows. A lot of the people inside a casino don't even know who he is. They don't know to keep it under confinement, that this is going to be a big deal. So the footage is like, it's available and not guarded longer than people think. And so there's opportunity that a lot of people could have their hands on this. And like Double A said last night, he's surprised that someone didn't have some footage on their phone. But don't be surprised if something drops, especially with the new news that Kamara is getting hit with another lawsuit by the guy in civil. So there's just another spotlight on it. So I would take JT all day long. I'm not saying Kamara is a guy you just dump or get rid of for nothing. I'd buy him low in the right context too. Understand that. But I definitely feel like if I have the option to get out and get into a JT, I'm all about it. Just lost Hall, offer Chase for Mixon and Gabe Davis. I probably would if you need a desperation play to get back in it. That would be a good move, I think. It sucks to do it, bro, but Gabe Davis is good enough that makes some sense. And you can bank on Mixon. Would I rather you bank on Swift, or even though Swift has been hurt? Yeah, but if you can get Mixon and Gabe, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It sucks to do, bro. It really does. Rate your team. Moves to make. Gino, DJ Moore, Amon-Ra, Breece Hall, JT, Andrews, Benjamin, Jefferson, Goff, Pacheco, Khalil Herbert, Gesicki. Guys, I'm sorry Pacheco didn't deliver like I had hoped he would. That news about him starting was it was a little bit of like, do you react with it or do not? I hesitated whether to make a big deal out of it, because we've seen this before where somebody gets hyped up and then boom, it doesn't really pan out the way you think. And everybody started rolling with it. So it was out there just before game time, and it was like a lot of people may have put some better options on the bench for Pacheco. So I wish that was easier to see and read. It was easier to read the tea leaves. He did get 8 carries for 43 yards. That's 5.4 a carry. He looked phenomenal. That's efficient football. 8 carries for 43 yards, 5.4 a pop. It wasn't about efficiency or that he played bad. He just didn't get the targets. He had 0 targets, which was unusual. He had no rushing touchdowns and only 8 carries, 8 opportunities. So it was kind of a depressing part of today, if you could pinpoint a couple. Breece Hall, Pacheco, but we had a lot of good. We had a lot of good today too. We had more good than bad, that's for sure.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat. The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space Monsters.
God, it breaks my heart seeing Breece Hall on that list, man, and then just seeing the prayer emoji I put next to him. Like it's just like a pit in my stomach. I'm sure a lot of you feel this way. This guy was a top 1 to 2 overall player. And the moment he had that 60-yard run, all the people that were like, I don't know that he's a top 5 guy. That's a little bit of a stretch. The moment Breece Hall ripped off that 60-plus yard touchdown run in the very beginning of the game, all the doubters were flipping to the Breece Hall side. And it sucks. It hurts me, bro. It hurts me. It hurts me inside. And it's going to be a little while before I fully get over that sickening feeling. I know it will go away, but I have that sickening feeling that I can't shake. And you got to understand from my perspective too, I have a lot invested in Breece Hall in terms of content, and it's like there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's not something we could predict. But we still got a lot of good stuff going on, and we got to stay positive, and we got to adjust and adapt, maneuver. But what a blow to the top 2 running backs, ACL tears. It's like you can't even see that coming. It's not like they're injury prone. Javonte and Breece Hall, there's no way to know that that's going to happen. There's no way to know. This isn't like Swift's a little bit more of a, you could see it coming type of thing. Like Swift was injury prone, but he still got a shot at delivering. But I'm just saying, like, that would be an example of, okay, you should have saw that coming, Swift. Yeah, we knew Swift's risk, and we still like Swift. There's still a lot of risk with him, but we still like Swift. But Breece Hall and Javonte, no one could have seen that coming. They're freak injuries, and it's a shame. And I just wish we didn't have to like question his value walking into 2023 too. Because Dynasty was the number one running back. He was my number one overall player in Dynasty, and really my quietly number one overall player going forward. I love Breece Hall, and I stand by that thinking too. It wasn't like I was wrong in my mind. It's logical. He looked the part. 60+ yard touchdown run to start off the game. I mean, you saw my excitement on IG. But rate your team. Gino, DJ Moore, Amon, Rob, Breece. I mean, you still got really good components here, bro. JT, Andrews, Amon Ra, Jefferson. I don't know that you need to make any crazy moves. I wouldn't mind you getting into obviously another running back potentially, but Eno might be fine for now, and you kind of let the offers come to you. Don't trade JT low. Don't trade Andrews low. JJ just coming off a bye. It sucks to even get rid of him. If I'm you, I kind of just chill. And Khalil can be useful. What did Herbert? Yeah, Khalil can be useful. What's the news on him in Monty right now? Is there any news on like Khalil Herbert starting? No. I mean, if we get news that like Herbert's going to handle a majority of the work or something like that, you're going to be in good position. I don't know that we're going to hear that. I just think that Khalil's going to have a good day. I think Khalil Herbert's going to have a real good day, and then you're going to end up being in prime position once he gains a little more value. So I would hang tight for now. Your team's good enough. You're not losing anything by waiting, Jonathan, and I appreciate your super chat. Flathead certified with a $4.99 holler. Would you trade Stevenson for Swift in a heartbeat? Also about trading Mike Evans for St. Brown. I take St. Brown, even though he's been disappointing. Yeah, hoping all the best for Breece Hall as well. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Was offered Walker for Kupp before this week. You got to Kupp's better. I mean, Kupp is the guy. You can't be trading Kupp. If you get Walker, you need a lot more. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that. Like, let's say you lost Breece Hall, you take Walker and a player, but you can't give up Cooper Kupp for just Walker because the fair market value of that alone. Like, but I like the thinking if you're getting something massive in return with him. Herbert for Gus Edwards and Foreman for my team. It depends on your quarterback, bro. I mean, there's no guarantees that either Edwards or Foreman will be very, very useful going forward. They're both very good ads, but I don't know if I'm trading like my signal caller for them unless you've got another option that's pretty good. So let me know what it is. Lost Hall and Hollywood don't have much depth. Would you trade Kelsey for a we'll say a group of players so people don't think we're talking about Breece Hall? You said a Hall. Do I trade Kelsey for a group of players? What would be worth it? I mean, I don't know what the owners have in your league, but an example of a grip of talent would be going rogue at tight end and not focusing on tight end. I'd rather fill two different wide receiver positions or two different running back positions or a wide receiver in a running back position and attack tight end in a cheap way. But a Swift and a Gabe Davis for Kelsey or something would probably suffice. Maybe you go after JT for Kelsey and you get something additional like Pittman. Someone's really down on a Pittman. Last week it would have been ETN. If you would have got ETN and JT for Kelsey, that would have been absolute fire, right? So you got to look and pinpoint who is this week's JT, or ETN, who's most capable of looking like a total steal a week or two from now when they get going. Aaron Jones was one of those players we talked about over and over and over all last week as one of the better buy low running backs in fantasy football heading into week number 7. Now look at Aaron Jones, untouchable. Not that he's like out of the woods for being inconsistent or a bust or something like that. But his 2 touchdowns, his relevancy during the game, being used all over the field. Subscribe if you're new. Punch that thumb up button on the way in the door. Appreciate everybody that's here. But please punch the thumb up button.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Subscribe. So, yeah, you got to trade Kelsey, Bowling. If you're struggling, you got to trade Kelsey, and don't listen to anybody that says you shouldn't. If you're playing for second place, it's time to make a move. Traded for Breece this past weekend too. You couldn't have seen it coming, man. I mean, in the first quarter, he looked like the best running back in football. Like, it was confirmed. 60-yard touchdown run. You can't. There's nothing you can do about that. I feel for you, and of course I feel awful. You know, when any of my people lose a player, especially one that I've been hyping, but it was all logical. It was all sound. He was an absolute monster, and he was in my opinion, the number 1 running back in fantasy football go forward. And Walker's making a case for being top 5, coming out of this game for sure. You know, you could argue there are not too many running backs you'd rather have than Kenneth Walker right now. He looks phenomenal. Mike Williams plus Raheem for Gabe Davis. Mike Williams plus Raheem for Gabe Davis. Give me Gabe Davis. I think he's more consistent. I think he's more exciting. I think he's got more upside. He's got the, Mike Williams is injury prone and he's on a bye. Gabe Davis is he's coming off the bye. He's going to be ready to go. He's a low-end wide receiver 1. Lost Javonte in week 3 and Breece today. At this point, I'm just playing for draft positions in 2023. I'm going to just stash running back handcuffs on my bench. Sorry, Isaac. I wish I could help you with that, man. But there'll be a lot of Dynasty content coming up here very, very soon, and we'll be going live on the Dynasty channel as well. Guys, if you could subscribe to the Dynasty channel, if those of you that play in Dynasty are looking toward next year already even, because of injuries you can't avoid, I'm going to pin the Dynasty channel in the chat. Please subscribe to the Dynasty channel right now. We have over 700 subscribers on a brand new Dynasty channel, and we're going to start going live on that channel a ton. So please subscribe if you haven't already. That is pinned in the chat. I think I pinned it already. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. So go subscribe to the Dynasty channel and help your boy Smitty out. And we'll get that channel cranking. Dynasty content galore this offseason is going on that Dynasty channel. Dynasty mock drafts. I got Kamara and Mike Williams for Jamar. That's okay. I don't like Mike Williams a whole lot. He's injured and he's inconsistent, so I would have rather got like a Pittman and a Kamara like type of deal, because I wonder. I don't want this to be where Kamara's your only player going up against Jamar. Then it kind of defeats the purpose of breaking Jamar Chase up. Like, you got one shot to take. Did you already do this one? It gives you one shot to take your Jamar Chase and break it up into 2 players. And if you get the wrong player with Kamara or the wrong 2 players, then you've lost the one opportunity you have, the bargaining chip you have. I don't know about Mike Williams and Kamara for Jamar. You know, that looked okay a couple weeks ago, but this week it doesn't look great. Not to mention, Mike Williams is injured, but he might be okay coming off the bye. We don't know, but it definitely isn't my favorite look of a Jamar Chase trade. Herbert, Walker, Jacobs, Etienne, Stevenson, Diggs, Cup, Devontae, Amari, Foreman, Judy, MT, 7-0. Any trades I should make? You're 7-0, so it's working, bro. Jacobs is on fire. That's another guy that I feel like I was not high enough on that I should have been. I don't think he's going to be doing what he's doing, today, go forward. But he's 100-yard and a touchdown threat on any given Sunday. Anytime he's on the field right now, that he's firing on all cylinders, and you gotta respect it and give him his flowers, and that's what I'm doing right here. So you've got a team that's on fire, bro. ETN, Jacobs, Walker, Diggs, Cup, Devontae. There's nothing to do. Don't touch this team. You're winning for a reason. Herbert's going to get better and better, assuming he gets healthy over the bye week. So don't even mess with that. If an offer comes that you can't refuse, like, absolutely take it. And I mean, poke around at stuff like, can you get JT, somehow. But like, Walker and Jacobs and ETN are working for you. So like, I don't know that I'm even like digging around. Like, if Stevenson does good on Monday, do you trade Stevenson and like Amari, or Stevenson and Devontae Smith? Stevenson for Foreman and Devontae for JT, of course I do that. So maybe I poke around at trades like that for right now. Just those trades that don't affect anything else. Oh, sorry, Sam. Sam's super chat. Burrow, Saquon, ETN, AJ. I assume AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Cook, DJ Moore, Waller, Hendy, and some chips. I feel like my running back room is weak. Any trade ideas? Love the show, man. Appreciate you. Your running back room isn't weak, bro. You got Saquon and ETN. You're fine. Would I like you to have more depth? I guess, but bro, then you're just gonna hurt your wide receiver room. So, like, would I trade Hendy and DJ Moore for a Swift? Yeah, absolutely. Would I trade Hendy and DJ Moore for a Najee? Maybe. Would I trade it for a Mixon? Sure. Like, would I do that? Yeah, but I'd also go get a wide receiver just the same. I'd trade DJ Moore and Hendy for an AJ Brown all day long, but you already got AJ Brown, but that type of player. So I think you're in a balance of running back wide receiver value that you take Hendy and DJ Moore and you don't worry about what position it is. You go get the best player you can to throw in your lineup. So I hear you, but I love ETN. I'm not worried about ETN, and I like your team. Breece destroyed me today. I've been sick to my stomach. 1-6 with only 4 playoff spots, 10-man league overcome. I'm sorry, bro. I wish I could take the pain away, man. I wish I could do something about it. I wish we could have prevented it. I wish we could have had him sit today. And, it makes me sick. Did you confirm the news about... Did you get confirmation of the news about... We're waiting upon... we're waiting for confirmation. We don't have an absolute... they're going to do testing tomorrow. So, Breece Hall, the fear is that he has a torn ACL. And I can put that news on the screen in case people are going to come in and wonder about that mid-show. So, Breece Hall probably looking at a torn ACL, unfortunately. So, it's bad. Is there an option to update a super chat? No, Wolf. Unfortunately, no. But if you ask a question, I'll try and get to here. To the moon for the $10 hauler. Appreciate you, Marcus. Marcus said, I lost Breece and Joku and Amon-Ra all today. I have Pittman, Tua, Hurts, Knox, Curtis Samuel, Mixon, Brian Robinson. I'm 2-4 possibly. I win today. Depends on Tua. Should I trade for more firepower? Amon-Ra, Pittman, Hurts, Mixon, Brian Robinson. You can't win the championship with that team in my assessment without Breece. So your option is to trade, unfortunately. Your option is to trade probably. You don't really have many options because there are not a lot of sell high guys. You have Jalen Hurts. You're going to have to go rogue a little bit at quarterback. And I don't think I'd go out. I think I would use the waiver wire, or who's your backup? Do you have a backup anywhere? Tua. I would just use Tua. I hope this isn't Superflex. If it is, then I need that information to assess it properly, but I'm going to assume it's not. So do I start Tua and trade Hurts for... I don't know. I'd probably trade Hurts for Swift or, a wide receiver that's completely undervalued right now. It's tough to even say who that would be for Hurts. I would say, depending on how people view AJ Brown, you could maybe get an AJ Brown for that value. You could maybe get a Debo on the low and take the risk that his volume doesn't, continue to be inconsistent. What did Debo finish with today? Debo finished with Ayuk finished with 82 yards, and Debo Samuel finished with 42 yards and 1 rush for 2 yards. So Debo's values, we worried about it, right? I mean, Jimmy G's not a good quarterback, and you take away a lot of his running, then what do you have left consistency-wise with Debo? So he's a risk, but do you go trade Jalen Hurts for Debo and something? You might even get something with it. Jalen Hurts is a good trade piece, but you have to use Jalen Hurts, bro. There's just no... I don't see how you can get out of it without trading your biggest bargaining piece. Steven with a super chat. Thank you, Steven. Jay Herbert. Oh, and that Marcus, that was, did I already give you that? For a $10 hauler. Appreciate you, Marcus. Thank you so much for the support. Steven, Jay Herbert, Jonathan Taylor, Walker, Pierce, ETN, Evans, Sutton, Kirk, Mark Andrews. The Breece owner wants ETN and Sutton for AJB. ETN and Sutton for AJB. I'm sure he does. And you know what? I would hold it over his head and say, I'm not giving you ETN and Sutton. Not to mention, like, ETN for AJ Brown straight up is arguable. So don't be throwing anything else in unless he's going to throw something back that you like better than Sutton. Then we're talking. But I don't know. I don't know that I'm trading ETN for AJ Brown. I like AJ Brown a lot. I do. But I feel like ETN, depending on the running back need that you may or may not want to hold on to. I mean, you've got Evans. You could use AJ Brown, but let's see, Taylor, Walker, Pierce, ETN. If you can only start 3 RBs max, like, I don't know if you have a flex, but if you can only start 3 RBs, then this actually isn't a bad move. But I would make sure it's AJ Brown straight up, Steven. I wouldn't give him anything additional. But that's not bad in your scenario. But if you can start all 4 RBs, I'm probably keeping ETN. But it just depends. 8-team league, QB, Herbert, running backs are Taylor, Kamara, Pierce, Harris, Pittman, Chase, St. Brown, Olave, Gabe Davis, Loss, B. Hall. Do I try to make moves? Kamara, Pierce, Harris, Pittman, Chase, St. Brown. I don't think you need to. I think you're pretty well set. Would I try and trade Najee Harris and, let's say, a different bench player? Yeah, or like I don't. Let's see here. Harris for. You don't really need to do anything, man. Harris and Herbert for Josh Allen. You know, would I go up a quarterback? I would upgrade your quarterback, or I'd stay still. I would try and get Josh Allen for Herbert and Najee. And I don't know if that team that has Josh Allen's hurting, then they might say, give me your RB. You know, and especially depending on how he does in this game. But you, in an 8-man league, the one thing you need to remember is that you can always overgive in an 8-man league because everybody's stacked. And the waiver wire is usually pretty rich. So you got to look at it like that. Like, I could go to the waiver wire and get, better players than most people. So you got to almost look at the trade and evaluate it using waiver wire people on your side of the trade when you're evaluating it, because you're really bringing them into the equation. 7-0, 16-team league. Jacob, CMC, Walker, Waddle, Andrews, Burrow. Moment of silence for Breece. Speedy recovery. Breece to the moon.
To the moon.
Makes me sick to even. I feel like I just wish we would wake up and it was a nightmare. It just makes me sick to my stomach. Brady with a $20 hauler. I'm sorry.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
I didn't see that until right now. Brady, Smitty, help me out with gut-wrenching Breece news. Got Mahomes, Eckler, Mostert, Hall, Godwin, Higgins, Chase, D. Smith, Gallup, Rashad White, and stashing Kyron Williams, half PPR, 12-man league. Who to get? Stop the Hall bleeding. Let's see if you can survive this. You have Chase, you have Godwin, you have Higgins, you have Eckler, you have Mostert, you have Mahomes. You could almost survive this. Your team's good enough that you could almost survive this. I'm not looking at your team going, yeah, you can't win. You could win. You got Mahomes, you got Eckler. Mostert keeps doing what he's doing, and you hit the waiver wire hard. Maybe Gus the Bus is out there, and you get that little help there. Maybe there's some other running backs out there. Godwin, Higgins, Chase, Devontae Smith. Those are all good options, bro. I don't know that you have to divide and conquer, because if you do, you're only lessening some of the other options that you have. I would say this is pretty good. You have a pretty good team. I'd entertain some Eckler and Chase offers, but they'd have to be offers that are too good to refuse. So examples would be you give up Eckler, you get Swift, and you get a top 5 to 7 running wide receiver. And you may not find anybody willing to do that, and that's okay. Then you don't make a trade. It's like going to a car dealership when you don't really need a car. You're going there with a smile on your face, because if you don't get the most amazing deal, you're walking home and you're driving home in your car that you already have, that you love, and you're like, cool, no big deal. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever gone to a car dealership where you love your car. You love your car, but you still go to the car dealership. And it rarely happens. Usually you don't waste your time on something like that unless you need a car. But I've gone before where I didn't really want a new car, and like the power I had walking in and just being like, I don't need a car. You either give me a deal. I think most of these cases are where you're just replacing your car with a 1 year newer model. I think that's mostly when I've felt this way. But like I've walked in, they've offered me over the phone or sent me an offer like, we'll upgrade your vehicle to a brand new one from last year, even though you just bought it, and it'll be the same payment. So I walk in and then they BS you. They're not going to give you the same payment. They're just wanting you in the door. But you stand firm and you're like, I'm out of here. Look, you told me you give me the same payment. You're the one that sent me the offer, bro. You can't do it. I'll get up and walk out. I don't need this. Like, that's the way you got to take a trade offer when you're talking about trading away Eckler or trading away Chase. And frankly, you should feel that way about any time you go to make a trade. Put yourself in a mindset that you don't want the trade, and you're going to have more power, and the person is going to get frustrated because they're going to sense your vibe and feel that you don't want to do the deal and that they're going to overpay. Like, this guy's not budging. He really doesn't want to trade with me right now. I can't ask for more. I'm going to ask for less to get him to do it. So that's the kind of the way it goes and works. I don't know if I want Najee to break out right now or not. I'm like, I find myself rooting against him, but so that my people, all of you, have another buy low option walking into week number 8. But then at the same time, if he blows again this week and doesn't do well, then it's less a chance of him bouncing back at all or losing touches to Warren, and then it just becomes a bigger mess for him. So part of me is like not sure how to, but Eckler for a Swift and a big wide receiver. Eckler for JT and Gabe Davis, or JT and a Higgins, JT and a pretty decent, last week would have been ETN and JT for Eckler would have been something to consider. Now you're not going to be able to get that kind of thing, but those are what you're going to need to do, and you do need to do them with both players. Entertain them, but with a very hard nose. I'm not doing anything. I can wait patiently till next week. You don't need to do the trade this week. You can still do it next week. Your team's good enough to survive. ETN for Swift. ETN's safer right now, and I like ETN a lot. I'm torn on this one, and I kind of feel like they're the same. Because Swift's already had his bye week, he's attractive to go get. But at the same time, you don't know if he's going to have another bye week next week due to injury. And so we don't really know what we're dealing with right now. If it's me, I probably would take Swift only if I'm getting something extra. And that might sound presumptuous of me, but I don't care. Again, car dealership mentality. Walk into the situation going, bro, you're giving me a player there's no guarantees he's even going to play next week. And there's no guarantees he's not going to, because he's barely going to be ready, re-injure it right away. Like, and St. Brown didn't go out with the ankle injury, but the same feeling you had when St. Brown was back and then he was out again. It was like your first thought was, oh my God, he injured the ankle again. He wasn't ready. Ended up being a concussion, but that feeling you had, you want to carry that feeling into this, saying, look, I don't want to be sitting there going Swift's back and then he's back out again. And so you just oversell it, bro, or walk away from the table. But ETN's safer. He truly is, and I like him. I like him enough to not to play hardball and get something additional, like a Pittman thrown in. Lost Breece, need help running back, need a trade idea. Lamar, Eckler, Pollard, Madison, Eno, Benjamin, Chase, A.J. Brown, Goddard, Pierce, Dobbs. Same thing applies to you, bro. Lamar, Eckler, Chase, AJB, Goddard, you have a good enough team to stay afloat, Cameron. You don't need to force it. Go into your trade negotiations saying to the owner, I don't need to trade. I don't want to trade. I don't need to trade. You either force me to make a trade that I can't refuse, or I'm not doing it. And if, Cameron, you have that attitude because you can, your team's good enough to have that attitude, you won't get worked or rolled on a trade. And I only explore trading Chase or Eckler away for the packages I'm talking about. You're getting JT and a Pittman. You're getting JT and a Gabe Davis. You're getting a Swift and at least a Higgins or an A.J. Brown if we're talking Jamar Chase. If we're talking Eckler, it's A.J. Brown and a Swift. You deserve that kind of deal, Cameron. That's how good those two pieces are that you have on your team. Appreciate your super chat and all your support. James P. says, Josh Allen, Evans, JJ, Breece Hall, Gus Edwards, Kelsey, Olave, benches, Kirk, Dylan. Same thing for you, bro. Your team is rock solid, even with losing Breece Hall. Do I want you to have something extra? I do. but I don't want you to panic. I want you to go in with confidence and listen to offers you can't refuse only. And JJ or Kelsey, to get that kind of package that I just talked about, works for you as well. To get a Swift and an AJ Brown for your Kelsey, and if they don't do it, then tough luck. They're not getting Travis Kelsey. To trade JJ is gonna be the world. You're gonna need the world, bro. You're gonna need the world for JJ. Plain and simple. He's already had the bye week. You sell that. I'm not giving you a JJ who's already had a bye unless you're giving me these two pieces to potentially that aren't going to even live up to JJ's expectation combined. You want me to trade away the number 1 or 2 overall player if we're drafting for today moving forward? If someone's coming after JJ too, especially if they've inquired, you know they want him. You know they value him the way you value him. But make sure you don't sell low. But I certainly entertain the offers, bro. But I wouldn't. You got a good enough team. Think about it. JJ, Josh Allen, and Kelsey. Those are 3 absolute monsters, bro. You were going to run away with it. You were 5-2, and you were going to run away with it. Run away with it with Breece Hall. But guess what? Now it's going to be a little bit of a close battle for you, and you can still inch out a win. I lost Javonte and Hall with kind of a similar team, and I still think I have a really good shot at winning it because it's going to be tight now. I don't have the depth I used to have. I got Walker and ETN stepping up into my running back 1 and 2 in this similar of a situation, and I feel fine. I'm definitely bummed because if I had Javonte and Hall, it'd be game over. But guess what? I'm still gonna win it. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm gonna mourn it for a day or two, but I definitely think I still have the power to win it with my team. And I think you do too. Be patient. Don't give up unless you're getting a deal of a lifetime. Need to upgrade QB, wide receiver, or tight end. What would you do with this team? 3-4, 14 team PPR. Dak, Carr, JT, Josh. Who's Josh J? Dak, Carr, Josh Jacobs, Walker, Henry, Debo, CD, Dobbs, Pickens. Is this a super flex? I don't think it is a super flex. So Dak, Carr, JT, Josh Jacobs, Walker, Henry, Debo, CD, Dobbs, Pickens. I don't think you need to upgrade, really. I mean, QB, sure. Would I trade away? I mean, you've got Debo, CD. I don't know that I'm trading. You have Josh Jacobs, JT, Walker, Henry. I would explore trading Josh Jacobs as much as he's proved me wrong and done very well. I would sell him on the high. Go get Jamar Chase. Go get. I mean, someone might give you Jefferson, bro. People are. Don't think you can't get something you shouldn't be able to get. It happens all the time. I have on my text line. This stuff comes through all the time, bro. Adams potentially using, Josh Jacobs. I'd take Adams in your situation. Josh Allen using Josh Jacobs potentially. And if you give him back your quarterback, Dak, you might want something like Pittman or whatever in return. But those are definitely possibilities. But you also don't need to do anything. Your team, don't do anything crazy or rash because your team can wait. Even if you make a deal, it can be 2 weeks from now, a week from now. My team is 4-3. Rodgers, Swift, Kenneth Walker, Sanders, Dobbins, Rashad White, J.J. Waddle. Very, very good squad. Love the team. There's no desperation plays needed here. Rodgers is a little bit of a concern because he's banged up, but he did better than we expected at the end there. Upgrade QB. Who should you target? Joe Burrow's now off the table. Herbert's an option going on a bye week though, and that might be advantageous for you to try and get him. Quarterbacks to target. Kyler on the cheap potentially, but make sure you don't overspend. I mean, those are it. Other than that, you're paying the piper for it, man. And I don't know that you want to necessarily tear apart your team to try and get a quarterback. I mean, Sanders for Sanders and Rodgers for Jalen Hurts. I would take that, but that's about it. I'm not trading Kenneth Walker. I'm not trading Swift. Obviously, I'd throw Dobbins in for free for a small quarterback upgrade, but nobody wants Dobbins. He's droppable, or if you could put him on IR, obviously. So at this point, that's my take. Sanders to upgrade into Hurts, or you potentially you could go after a Mahomes or something, but no one's going to probably give you that for Sanders. So Trade Carter. Michael Carter. I mean, if you can get the right trade for him. Do I trade for Carter or trade away? It depends. I could trade for Carter or I could trade him away. It just depends on the offer. But certainly don't feel like he's a bad pick or God, just seeing, bro, why do I have to see your avatar right now? Your Breece Hall avatar, man. It's depressing me. Lamar, you don't have to change it, Nuke. I'm just saying. It's like, man, it's Lamar, ETN, Breece, Najee, Pittman, and you got Breece on your roster, bro. I knew you would because of your avatar, but it's hitting hard. Tyreek, Amari, DJ Moore, Mooney, Garrett Wilson, Pitts. My advice, what to do, lost Breece. Can't really sell Lamar on the high right now. ETN, don't sell him. Breece Hall, obviously, probably done for the year. Najee, we'll see what kind of value he has. No one's buying him, but you never know. Maybe you can get rid of him for a Swift. People are down on Swift. Maybe you swap your worries. Hey, I'll give you my worries for your worries. And then you throw in a DJ Moore, who you might need, by the way. So don't toss him in like he's candy, but I would get it done to get a better potential running back in play. So you got Lamar, you got ETN, you turn it into a Swift somehow, maybe. Najee into a Mixon, you take a chance on that. Pittman, Sutton, Tyreek isn't bad, but would I trade Tyreek for a potential shot at, I don't know who you could get, bro, like a Brian Robinson and a Higgins for your Tyreek? Is that even enough? Probably not. St. Brown and Brian Robinson, St. Brown and Stevenson, like those type of moves, maybe you can get that. Maybe someone still buys Lamar, and you go cheaper at quarterback. You try and hit a home run, and you trade Lamar off for an Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and something. Maybe even get something in addition to that. I don't know. St. Brown would be a good go-get for you, as would Mixon, as would potentially. God, there's Dalvin Cook's even a scary buy low, but in certain situations where you guys are hit hard at running back, he's somebody I would, I guess, target in a worst case scenario. Just like Najee, I want him in a worst case scenario. Otherwise, I don't want him. But in cases where your team is just completely decimated, you might have to take gambles on guys like Najee Harris, who are cheaper than any other running back that has a potential to be a top 10 running back. Can't start all running backs. Need a wide receiver too. Running backs are Swift, Eckler, Pierce, ETN. Also have Hurts and JJ as notables. Swift, Eckler, Pierce, and ETN. Swift is probably the guy you trust least right now, right? So you maybe shop him and just see what you can get. Can you get an A.J. Brown? I'd probably do that straight up for Swift, given your circumstance and your team. Would I be open-minded to trading Pierce over Swift? I would, but it'd have to be a wide receiver I really, really, really want on my roster, like a Diggs or someone like that, or an Adams, and you trade Pierce away. And RBs are such a hot commodity. This is the one time where you can trade your player who's a little bit lesser, so Pierce being ranked a little lesser than a Diggs or an Adams, but because you're giving the RB up and people are struggling at RB, maybe you're able to get that swap going. So that's where I would probably take that. Sell Pierce high. Act like Pierce is a top 5 to 10 running back when you're negotiating, and believe it when you're doing it. Don't settle. Don't let someone tell you he's not worth this or that. He, in your mind, at least 6 to 10 running back value is what you need to get back, which would get you one of those wide receivers that I just mentioned. It really would. Use Mixon to get JT. I would take JT all day. All hail Walker. Thank you, Smitty. I'm grateful to everybody that is, excited and the word grateful is not the right word. I'm happy for everybody that has Walker and is doing well and isn't decimated by the Breece Hall injury. I'm very, very, I feel for everybody that has Hall and feels like they're in a position where they can't climb out of this hole that they're now feeling like they're in. But I'm here for you. We're all mourning together because we're a big Breece Hall community. No one could have saw this coming. Don't be down on yourself. Don't be down on anybody about it. You can't predict some of these things. There's no warning sign for this ACL tear. He was on his way. You were right. I was right. He was on his way to being the number 1, number 2, or number 3 at least overall player in fantasy football, let alone fantasy football running back. So congrats to everybody that's got Walker.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
And my condolences for every single person out there that has this monster named Breece Hall that is injured. My mixin to get JT all day long. Hero, $10 hauler. Hero, appreciate you for that super chat. Chase, Adams, Amon-Ra, Breece, Swift, Pollard, Everett, Taysom, Chuba, Khalil, T-Law. Need a bunch of trade ideas coasting through the season, but really wish I could have Breece. Yeah, if you, again, you're one of those people, bro, that you have such a good team. Hurts, Chase, Adams, Amon-Ra, Swift. You're fine. You don't need to make any moves. I'm only accepting an Adams or a Chase deal or Hurts deal. If you're getting an offer, you can't refuse. So Chase for A.J. Brown, who's had a bye, or you already have Amon-Ra. So A.J. Brown and you already have Swift. You got a lot of the targets that I would go get. God, I don't know what you would even do. JT, of course, JT would be on my list. So let's say you were to trade Jamar Chase for JT and like a Gabe Davis, JT and a Pittman. DK would have been a good target, but he's injured right now. Higgins is a great target. AJ Brown's a great target. Olave's a great target. Waddle's a good target depending on what he looks like coming out of this game. If Tyreek Hill busts and has a bad game overall, which let me pull up the stats on these guys so we know what they're even doing at this very, very moment. Looks like, let me pull up ESPN because NFL.com does not have, I don't know when they're going to fix it. When is NFL.com, is anybody working on it to fixing their stats? Because they don't show a lot of the player names. They're just missing from the stats. It's crazy. Like, is somebody not working on that? It's week after week. So currently in the game right now, the box score, Najee 5 carries for 18 yards, Pickens 1 catch for 30 yards, Pickett 1 interception, Tua's got 1 TD throwing, threw it to Mostert. Waddle's got 3 catches for 63 yards, Tyreek's got 3 catches for 22 yards, Mostert's got 6 carries for 39 yards. Pretty much like it has the makings of a little bit better than a Thursday night game, but it does feel a little bit of Thursday night-esque to it. Chase for if let's say Hill struggled, you could go get Hill and potentially a Najee, or Hill and a Swift, or Hill and a Mixon. It's possible. Aaron Jones, you're probably not buying low anymore. Kenneth Walker, no chance buying him low anymore. And boy, Mixon and a wide receiver. It'd have to be one of those absolute monster trade offers, bro. I'm not trading this team unless I get one of those deals. And, I may be open-minded to somebody coming to me versus me going to them. That way they bring you an offer you can just shut down and control the trade conversation. So maybe you just mention to somebody, I'm open to, like, this is what I would do, bro. I'd reach out to some people. Hey, man, what's up? Just a little small talk, not even trade talk. And try and, whether it's text or whatever, and just be like, hey, so you doing any deals? I'm kind of bored. You want to do a deal? I'd do a deal. Like, don't make it about anybody specific and say, but for me to deal, man, I'm winning. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Then you might get an offer, and you can get somebody to start, offering and giving you their what they consider to be their medium price, and you can up it from there. But I don't know that I would go shopping your players because your team is good enough, Hero. This question here, lost Hall. So Olave for Najee or Swift. I would not trade for Najee, bro. I would trade for Swift. It's dynasty. I would trade Olave for Swift potentially, not for Najee Harris. I think Olave's got more value than Najee Harris. Dynasty redraft doesn't matter. Would I take Swift in Dynasty? He's got risk in Dynasty. Olave's going to last a lot longer. He's a receiver. Some in here might even say, would everybody in here rather have Olave in Dynasty over Swift, or would you guys rather have Swift in Dynasty over Olave? Please let Philip know in the chat so he can get a little group think on that. Thank you, Philip. Appreciate you. Hero with another super chat, 5 and 2. Burrow, Chase, JJ, AJ Brown, Breece, Pierce, Taysom Hill, Pollard, Dillon, Njoku, Algier, Damian Harris, Kyron Williams. Already lost Javonte, still sitting pretty, but just lost Breece. Now what? Need some trade ideas. I mean, Burrow, Chase, JJ, AJ Brown, Pierce, you're in the same boat as the other two individuals. I said just wait. Wait for Damian Harris to get some value, then we'll attack it, I think, next week. In general, you have an open door policy to hearing trade offers for Jamar Chase, JJ, and potentially Pierce. But again, I would attack it in that context of, hey, man, how's your team doing? I don't know. I'm always open to trades. Are there any trades you can come up with? And just make them take a stab, you know? I don't know that I'd go attack anything. I just let people come to you. Your players are doing well. You got an attractive group of players that are worth trading for, and people would overpay for him. JJ's coming off a bye. You don't move him unless you're getting the world. AJ Brown coming off a bye. You're not moving him unless you're getting the world. Pierce coming off a bye. You see the pattern here? Like, bro, you have had multiple big name players out on a bye, and you're 5-2. So you're in the driver's seat, and you don't want to give up some of the advantages you have bye week wise. And people are either offering you stuff you can't refuse, or that's it. And just look at Pickett scrambling. There's definitely opportunity to go get some players, but you know, Swift is one of them. And yeah, I'm looking at your squad again. Let me pull your squad again, superhero real quick. Let me just. Yeah, I mean, Pierce, JT. Maybe go to the JT owner and just say, interested in maybe trading Pierce away. Like, I would take JT over Pierce in this scenario. And maybe not everybody feels that way, and I get it. And I'm one of the bigger Pierce advocates you'll find. I mean, for goodness sake, he's on the Moon Men list.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
I mean, for goodness sake, but like, there's a time and a place to take a gamble, and I think in your scenario, in your situation, JT would be a good one to make. Please hit the thumb up button on your way in the door, guys. 185 thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're new as well. Najee's getting a little run. Najee's starting to look a little bit better and more explosive. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing out of Najee right now. If you're desperate for a running back and he comes out of this under 100 yards rushing and he kind of has an unnoticed good game, Najee's going to be the target. He's looking pretty good right now. I don't mind what I'm seeing. Lost Breece. Make a move for Swift. Absolutely. If so, who? 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Hurts, JT, Kenneth Walker, Tyreek, AJ Brown, Debo, Higbee, DJ Moore. So, love your 2 running backs. I'm not trading those 2. They're not involved in this. Hurts, Tyreek, AJ Brown, they're not involved in this. I'm trading Debo Samuel for Swift, and if I've got to give a DJ Moore, I might do it. I'm worried about Debo. I'd rather have Swift than Debo, I think, at this point. Does anybody disagree with me on that? Would you rather have Swift, even with him missing today's game, than Debo Samuel? Because Debo's got a bye coming up. He's got Christian McCaffrey absorbing more and more targets. Swift may have been out this week, but that doesn't impact you because you're trading for him in the future for next week, and he's already had his bye out of the way. So give me Swift all day long in that scenario. Yeah, chosen J Money. It sucks, man. We're all mourning here, man. So Debo's the answer, bro. Debo's the one. Just because I love your show, you're the man, Smitty. Thank you, Warren, with a $10.
To the moon.
I wish I had good news all around today. I wish it wasn't part bad news today. We had a good day today in general. We had a really good day today. Thank you, Warren, again. But Breece Hall going down was just a kick to the nads, man. Just to the nads. To every one of our nads at once. Need to replace Hall. 12-man, 4-3. Jimmy G, Chase, CD, Hall, Kamara, Goddard, Mike Williams, Olave. It's let's see here. 4-3. Jimmy G's a horrible quarterback, though, by the way. Like, you got to get rid of that. Stafford's okay, though. Like, Stafford, I'm telling you, Stafford, I think, could rebound a little bit down the stretch. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. He's not top 7 or 8. But he's one of those like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 quarterbacks that has the potential, because he's got Cooper Kupp and weapons, to have a little bit better bounce back second half of the season. I really think he's one of those guys. So I don't mind that. Chase, CD, Kamara, Olave is pretty good. Are you one player away? Maybe. So, same advice applies to you that I've been cranking out for the last 12 minutes straight, is chase for something significant in two parts. And it's got to be A.J. Brown and Swift, or Swift and Higgins, or Gabe Davis and Swift for Jamar Chase. It's got to be something massive, bro. It can't be like that. There's the other offers. The Mike Williams isn't enough to go from Chase to Swift. You need to have something significant. It needs to be something relatively significant. Gabe Davis probably gets it done, I suppose, with Swift to get rid of Jamar Chase. I would like a Pittman in on the low. I know a lot of people might not, but I still think Pittman's going to be good. Those are all good things to consider. Do I like JT? Absolutely. Do I use Chase to get JT and a Pittman, JT and a potential player? Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I take that. JT, Swift, those are great options. Those are good moves for you. I'm also interested maybe in trading Kamara away for a Swift and something, if you can even pull that off. Or, I don't know. I doubt you're going to get Kenneth Walker for Kamara, but you certainly could try. I don't blame a boy for dreaming. Focus on 5-2 team more now, or salvaging the 1-6 team. I mean, you focus on both of them. You know what I mean? But I mean, clearly the 5-2 team is the one that's gonna likely take you to the promised land over the other one. But let's focus on both. Let's try and get you back on the other one. But I mean, certainly 5-2 needs more of your attention. You don't want to drop the ball on the 5-2 team at all. Trying to salvage the one that's a little bit further out of it. Let me pick up everyone's spirit with some gifts. Oh, Russian Collusion dropping a $10 or not a $10. That was a $20. Russian Collusion dropping 10 memberships. Thank you, Russian Collusion. What a dude. What a dude. Those memberships go out randomly. He doesn't choose them. I don't choose them. Texas Hustler, Dion, Noah, Travis Rowe got one. Cameron got one. Work for What You got one. Fernandez, Crod, Taco, Let's Go Buffalo, and Zach F. all got YouTube exclusive memberships, which means that on Sunday morning, you guys can jump on and ask questions during that exclusive time period, 30 minutes before kickoff of the morning games. You also have the green names now. You also have the emojis, dropped emojis if you just got the new membership. And it's a 1-month gift. And so if you want to renew, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. It's $1.99 a month. It helps support the channel. And appreciate you, Russian Collusion. Russian Collusion.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
So depressing today and happy at the same time. I'm feeling two feelings at the same time. Just like Sesame Street used to say, it's okay to have two feelings. I don't want two feelings at the same time, Big Bird. I don't want it. I want one feeling, glory. That's it. And I feel depression and glory at the same time. And I don't like it. Drop D-Hop and Monty for JT. Yes, D-Hop and Monty for JT, like in a heartbeat. Like this, I almost didn't even understand it when I read it because it's such a no-brainer. Yeah, hit it, punch it. Check your DM on IG. Is this a Goodbye Breece song? Oh, you're gonna depress me, rock out. But here we go.
Sunday, every time we get in the hype, I'm getting right. I'm on the bike, yeah. I'm hype again. Every time I got it hype, yeah. I'm hype. I'm getting hype, yeah. I'm getting hype. I was hype, I'm on a hype again. Every time I hyper, I be getting the viper. Robbing in the famer, I be doing the beamer. I'm fast and I'm furious. Oh man, people getting serious. I'm so serious. I'm going back and now I'm going down big the top. And it's just so hot. And all that shit, yo. I'm kicking real shit is coming back. I'm gonna get it hype. I'm getting hype. Yeah, I'm gonna get it hype. I'm getting hype.
Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. You're always dope with the original songs, dropping fire. Appreciate you, Rock Out. Thank you. Eric, Pittman or AJ Brown? AJ Brown. I like Pittman, but you need to get more. So if you're trading AJ Brown for Pittman, you got to get an extra piece because he's down. AJ Brown's up. Bye week's out of the way for AJ Brown. He's ready to come back on fire. He's on a whole nother level. Even though I like Pittman quietly, not better, but just I like him. But I'm getting more with Pittman. So that's a good trade if you're going to go get Pittman and another strong piece. But just one for one, absolutely not. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Need to trade ideas: 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Brady, Cousins, Geno, Dalvin, CMC, Barkley. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 flex. Dalvin, CMC, Barkley, Gus, Akers. I got to go on the live stream here. So these are the last 3 questions here, and then I'm going on the Zoom calls. And if you guys have the $9.99 Zoom call, we're going to jump on it. So these are the last 3 questions. I think there's one more that came in. I'm going to put that on screen here, and then the timer is going to, or then the background music is going to go on. So just to let everybody know. Deep need trade ideas, 1 QB. So I'm trading Gus, Akers, Lamb, AJ Brown, CMC, Dalvin. I don't think you need to make very many moves. You got Barkley. I wouldn't touch this team, to be honest with you, bro. Like, would I maybe try and trade? I mean, you almost have to have faith in Brady versus, divide up everything. Would I trade Dalvin for JT? I would do that, Kevin. That would be the one move I'd be looking to move there. Or Dalvin for Swift. I'd do that. This is a $10 hauler. Appreciate you. $10 hauler. Anthony says, my team was ready to go to the moon. RIP Breece, Hurts, Pierce, Walker, Cup, Lamb. You're still on the way to the moon, bro. It's a really good team. Olave, Pittman. You're good. Should I trade Cup to replace Breece? No, I don't think so. Pierce, Walker, you're pretty solid, bro. Cup, Lamb, Pittman, I let it ride. Olave, maybe I trade Lamb and potentially, would I trade Pierce and Lamb? Pearson Olave or Pearson Pittman or Pearson Lamb for maybe JT. Maybe that I would maybe go that direction, but past that, you don't need to do anything. That team's very good.
To the moon.
You were just, the difference is you were in the driver's seat. Now you're going to be competing to try and win, and versus walking away with it, in my opinion. But JT's a very good buy low for everybody in these positions. You guys are all in like similar positions. 10-man league. I have Prescott, Goff, Chase, Evans, Curtis Samuel, Gallup, Swift, ETN, Stevenson, Walker, Pierce. 2 and 5, 10-man league. Goff, Chase, Evans, Samuel, Gallup, Swift, ETN. Walker, Pierce. I mean, you have Walker, Pierce. You have Chase, Evans. I'm not panicking in this scenario either. I want a receiver and a QB. What should you do? Stevenson, wait on Stevenson, see if he gains some value, or try and preemptively trade him. But if he ends up doing well, he's going to get even more value, and so you can maybe trade Prescott and Stevenson together for one player. Swift and ETN, I don't touch that. Chase and Evans, I don't necessarily touch that either. And Pierce, if you can't start all 4 of those running backs though. I rank your running backs all very close, so I don't want you to trade one. But I suppose if you had to, Pierce for an elite wide receiver, and if you had to give up like a Stevenson with it in order to get a Jamar Chase like wide receiver next to Jamar Chase, like an Adams, I would maybe trade Pierce and Stevenson for Adams. Past that, I don't know that I'm doing anything else, and I don't know that you can do both a quarterback and a wide receiver upgrade without hurting your team very badly, and I don't want you to do that. I'd rather you bank on Prescott. So I would say start there, and thank you again for the super chat, and that's a way to definitely improve that team without dismantling it. Have Damian Pierce, Walker, and ETN awesome. Oh wait, my wide receivers are Lamb, St. Brown, and Dobbs. Welcome to Fantasy Pain 3 and 4 after this week. I mean, Lamb and St. Brown, bro, don't worry about it. I mean, you still got good wide receivers there. I wouldn't worry about it. St. Brown's going to be back with a vengeance. I think you're going to be okay. This team's very good. There's not a lot to trade. You got to wait. These guys aren't guys you can trade except for Walker, and I don't want you to trade Walker because his value is only going up. So hang tight. Be patient with this team. Don't freak out about it. Anthony with the super chat. Did you already do this? Should I trade Cup to replace Breece? Yeah, I already did that one. Okay. And again, appreciate the $10 haulers.
The moon.
I'm going on the Zoom call here. So if anybody wants to join us on the Zoom call, the link is pinned in the live chat. It's also down in the description. It's $9.99 a month. You can do it on YouTube only. It's you can cancel anytime. It's all done safe and secure through YouTube. Anybody that's got the $199 the $199 subscription, you guys are going to get invited to this one. Okay? So I'm going to invite you all right now. Might be a crazy Zoom call. I'm inviting everybody that's a $1.99 member right now. So it's going to get absolute nuts. I'm going to put everybody on mute. So everybody needs to please try and be respectful if all of us are in there. I'll see you on the Zoom call. Again, thank you for watching. It is what it is. It sucks, guys. We're gonna bounce back. We're gonna rebound. I appreciate all of you, and I wish I could take your pain away. I wish the injuries couldn't be a part of this. It sucks, man. I'm depressed right now with you. I'm depressed with you. I'm very excited on one hand. Kenneth Walker season.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
But clearly, I'm also very, very depressed about Breece Hall probably looking like an ACL tear. We'll have confirmation tomorrow, but it doesn't sound good. The fact that they're giving us that information without waiting tells us they think it's an ACL tear. They know that too because they'll take your knee, and there's a test they do on site where they can kind of tug on it, and if it's got a lot of give, there's usually no ACL there. It sucks. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm live Monday through Friday. Every single Monday through Friday, I'm live from 7 p.m. to like 9 p.m. usually, or 10 p.m. We sometimes go 3 hours. We've gone 4 hours the last couple times. 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. This depends on what we're talking about. But 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. And I'm also live whenever news breaks. I'll see you all tomorrow if news breaks. Probably on the Breece Hall topic, I imagine. And then I'll also see you at 7 p.m. And I'll probably do a waiver wire video as well tonight to drop tomorrow morning. So I'll see you all for that premiere as well. Take it easy and get to work on adjusting and adapting. Don't be down too long. Mourn it. I get it. Mourn the Breece Hall injury. I'm going to do it too. But let's bounce back from this and we'll make some moves. Look, ETN was a way out. People that traded for ETN were back on top after the Javonte Williams injury. ETN solved the problem. Like that. ETN solved it. Kenneth Walker solved it. We got another problem on our hands. We got to solve it. We'll do it together. For those of you wondering where the invite's going to be, if you're a YouTube exclusive member, it'll be in the community chat here in just a couple minutes on a post. So you'll go to the community tab here on YouTube and you'll see the invite.
The tripod, also likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, are constructed using burrow or Hertz, chase or a JB Hull or Walker.